Welcome to the Bonus Time Monster Truck Podcast, presented by MonsterTalk, your number one source for the latest news, results, and more from the monster truck world. Meet the hosts for tonight's episode: Ewan Ford, Reagan Szymanski, Wayne Shahaki, and Jackson Morris. So strap yourselves in, because bonus time starts now.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Bonus Time Monster Truck Podcast presented by MonsterTalk. I am your host, Jackson Morris. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the whole squad once again. Reagan Szymanski, Wayne Shahaki, Ewan Ford. We're back, and we've got another exciting episode. One of the last ones of the year. I don't want to say second to last or third to last, because I don't know what's happening, but it's one of the last ones of the year, and we've got a very exciting episode. It's the 2024 Monster Jam season predictions. Fellas, are we excited for the new year of Monster Jam?
Woohoo! Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a good one, especially with Tristan in a new truck, and hopefully we get some new track styles. We saw in October some awesome stuff while us three were in Australia, and Ewan was hanging out at home, of course. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome year. I'm excited. What do you think, guys?
Dude, I cannot wait for 2024, I tell you.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, we're going to jump straight into it. Let's not waste any time with Stadium Championship Series E. So here's how today's going to work. We're going to recap the lineup so that you guys remember who we're talking about. And since the last time that we ourselves have been together as a collective group, the lineup has changed quite drastically. We know who all the trucks are. We know who all the drivers are. And we're also going to rank. We're going to basically say who is going to finish where on our series. We're going to give our predictions for each of the tours. Start off with Stadium Series East, as I said. The full lineup, here it is. Tyler Menninger is back in Gravedigger. Tom Mentz, his final competitive season behind the wheel of Max D. Tristan England joins the tour in the all-new JCB Diggertron. Lindsay Reed is driving the Lucas Stabilizer. Todd LeDukes in Megalodon. Bryce Kenny, the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Jamie Garner, El Toro Loco. Cole Vernard, Black Pearl. Nick Pagliarulo, Kraken. Matt Pagliarulo, Jester. John Gordon, Bad Company. Ryan Disharoon, Shaker. Awesome lineup. Again, most of it has stayed the same. The only differences since last time we spoke, Baru Musawa has switched to Stadium West. We'll talk about later. Obviously, Tristan England, the all-new JCB truck, and Lindsay Reed filling in for a expecting Cynthia Gauthier. So, my predictions, we're going to start from last. We're going to go all the way up to first, and then we'll hand it over to the other guests to talk about their predictions for Stadium Series East. My predictions look like this. In 12th place, Matt Pagliarulo Jester. Unfortunately, he has had, he struggles to finish in either 11th or 12th. For me, I'll put him in 12th, unfortunately. I really hate to rank drivers in last place, but it is what it is. That's what I gotta do. In 11th place, many may be surprised by this. Nick Pagliarulo in Kraken takes 11th. I really feel like, he's had some strong seasons. He's had some bad seasons. I thought this season was pretty good, but I think he finished 10th or 11th. And when there's so much amazing other talent, it's really hard to finish above some of the other talent. And I've made some, dare I say, spicy predictions here. So 11th place, Nick Pagliarulo. 10th place, Lindsay Reed, Lucas Stabilizer. Not much else to say here. It's her first stadium tour since 2021. She struggled on that series as well, but she didn't finish 12th. I think she finished 11th. For Stadium East, I've put her in 10th. 9th place, Ryan Disharoon, Saigon Shaker. Not much to say there. Ryan Disharoon, fantastic driver. I think he's going to finish in 9th. 8th place, Jamie Garner, El Toro Loco. Finished around this spot on Stadium Red this year. Again, not much else to say. John Gordon and Bad Company takes 7th. 6th place, I have Bryce Kenny, the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Maybe a little lower than many have expected, but for me, he takes 6th place. 5th place, another surprising one, Cole Vernard in the Black Pearl. He had a rough season this year. I was looking back to try and base my predictions off of where they finished based compared to the previous season. He finished I think 8th or something. He was behind Jamie Garner, which was very surprising. So for me, I put him in 5th place. 4th place, Tristan England, JCB Digatron. He's going to do fantastic. I think he's going to take 4th, especially debuting in San Antonio. It's going to be an awesome truck to see. 3rd place, our top 3. Here we go. Toddler Duke in Megalodon. He had a very, very rough season this year. And ever since the World Finals, he's really started to find his groove with Megalodon. And I think he's going to take 3rd place. Now, these two, I had a big toss-up on who I was going to put because I think everyone really wants Tom Meents to take a series championship in his last competitive year. And I do as well. But unfortunately, for my predictions, Tom Meents takes 2nd. He loses to Tyler Menninger in Gravedigger, who takes his 2nd ever Stadium Championship Series win after his incredible 2023 season. So, over to you guys. What are your predictions?
All right, gonna get started down the list. Like Jackson said, it's always hard to pick a last place competitor. Now, Matt Pagliarulo is gonna be 12th place for me. He has amazing wow moments every now and then. He's done some backflips last year and this year, and obviously has great freestyles when he gets the truck 100%. But the consistency isn't always there, so he's 12th place. This one I think I probably have wrong. I have Ryan Disharoon in 11th place in Shaker. When he started out this year, he had a lot of issues and it put him down in the points, but eventually he got his stuff going. So I see him doing better than that, but I have him for 11th. In 10th place, Lindsay Reed and Lucas Stabilizer, as she's filling in for Cynthia Gautier, as Jackson said. Ninth place, Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. He had an incredible year this year, and I think that if he stays consistent, he could keep up in the top 10. In 8th place, Jamie Gardner at El Toro Loco. I think I'm a little wrong on that one too, especially repping the El Toro Loco brand. He might finish a little further up, but I have him 8th place. 7th place, John Gordon and Bad Company, always a great competitor. 6th place, Bryce Kenny and the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. 5th place, top 5, Cole Vernard and Black Pearl. He had an incredible season this year and a great freestyle run. And 4th place, Todd LeDuc and Megalodon. He's always a top 5 competitor. 3rd place, Tristan England in the JCB Digatron. I think he's going to have a great year, and I think he can take a top 3. 2nd place, here we go, top 1 and 2. I think Jackson's totally wrong. Tom Meents is going to take it. So 2nd, Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger. And 1st, the GOAT, Tom Meents and Max D. And he could bring it back. I think he was holding off this year, and he's going to go ham next year.
Well, so, I kind of based all these off of, previous year's trends. My first 6 were the exact same as Wayne's, so I'm not going to repeat that. Starting at, I guess, number 6, or placing in 6th, I got Cole Vernard, Black Pearl. 5th, Bryce Kenny, Mohawk Warrior. 4th, Todd LeDuc. I think he's going to have a much better year than he did this year in 2023. Easily, I will say Todd's worst season he's ever had. His truck would not cooperate with him for the entire year, and he finally looks like he's trying to get it figured out. So, 3rd, I'm going Tristan. I think it's his first year on Stadium, so you can't really pin him to win it. But I think a 3rd place finish is very strong for your first year on a Stadium tour. And 2nd, Tyler Menninga. 1st, Tom Meents. Come on, that's easy. Tom's going to take it. You could just tell this year in 2023, Tom was not driving like how he did in the rest of his whole career. I don't know what's up. I don't know if there's a reason for that. Maybe he was holding off saving all his good stuff for his last year, 2024. But I think Tom's easily going to take it this year.
Well, it's starting off with my predictions. Unfortunately, I have Matt and Nick Pag at 12th and 11th, respectively, and it's just unfortunate we have to put somebody in last. But in 10th, we have Lindsay Reed. She just hasn't really shown anything stadium potential, really. And ninth is John Gordon. And actually, I have Ryan Sharoon above him at 8th. And then I actually have Jamie Garner above you guys, I guess, in 7th. And El Toro Loco. 6th, I have Cole Vernard. He really struggled at the end of the year in 2023. It really, I guess, just truck issues a lot of the time. And in 5th, Bryce Kenny. He's just going to be a solid competitor throughout. And 4th, we have Tristan England, Digatron. His first stadium tour, he's going to be top 5 for me. 3rd, Todd. He's going to be a top 3 competitor. He's going to make it close, I hope. Hopefully it's better than his last this season, and hopefully. And I guess we're 2 for 2. I have Tom Menson 2nd and Tyler Mendigun 1st.
Wow. So the hosts of Bonus Time are split. 2 of us think that Tyler Menninger is going to well, I shouldn't say run away, but he's going to take the series championship. And 2 of you guys think that Tom Mentz is going to finish out the season strong and take his last ever series championship. I'm excited to see this. And also, this new JCB Digatron truck is going to be awesome. I know that we really haven't talked about it that much, like, as a discussion in terms of this podcast. But I've talked about it in great lengths. I think you guys all have the same sentiment. This new truck, amazing. Sad to see Earthshaker go, but it's great to see Tristan England get a Stadium Series spot. We are going to move on to our very next tour. We're moving over to the arena scene, Arena Championship Series East. The full lineup consists of Kristen Anderson in Gravedigger, Armando Castro, El Toro Loco, Cody Saucier Dragon, Angelina Knock in Megalodon, Chad Tingler Overboard, Zach Garner Wildside, Mark Hall Raminator, and Kurt Kramer Ramunition. Most of this lineup has remained the same from last time. The only 2 additions that we had was the confirmation that Chad Tingler is not part of the Sims camp. Chad Tingler now driving a red Overboard, which we've talked about in a news video. Very cool. My predictions, here we go. 8th place. I hate to do this to my man, Kurt Kramer. Unfortunately, Kurt Kramer is 8th on my predictions. He just hasn't been able to finish above that in any series as of recently. Unfortunately, Kurt Kramer taking 8th. In 7th, Angelina Knock in Megalodon. Now, it's really hard to put Angelina in this spot because I think she has a lot of talent, a lot of promise, but she's only done 1 show this year, and I don't think her Puerto Rico performance was indicative of what she can do behind the wheel. I'm excited to see what she does, but for now, I've put her in 7th place. In 6th, Mark Hall Raminator, again, a phenomenal competitor. He's finished, I think, as high as maybe 4th or 5th, or 4th or 5th in other tours and other years. For me, he's taking 6th on this very stacked tour. In 5th place, Chad Tingler Overboard. Not much else to say. Overboard, phenomenal truck. I think he's going to do incredible next year. Now, ordering these next few was very hard because I'm sure that there's probably a bit of disagreements on, which is fine, on who should place where. But I think I've done fairly well with my predictions. Then again, they are my opinions. In 4th, I've put Zach Garner in Wildside. I think he's going to do great, but not as great as 3rd place, which is Kristen Anderson. She's a former series champ. She finished, I think, 3rd or 4th on Stadium. Oh, sorry, not Stadium. I keep saying Stadium. Arena West this year. She's going to finish 3rd. In 2nd place, Cody Saucier in Dragon. Phenomenal driver. I think that he has the potential, keyword, to take the series championship. But in 1st place, taking, I would assume, one of either 2 or 3 or maybe 2nd arena series championships, Amanda Castro, El Toro Loco, takes 1st for me. Over to you guys. Let's hear your predictions.
Well, from 8th place all the way to 4th are the exact same, so I won't cover that. Just copy and paste Jackson all the way over onto my face. Now bring back my face. 3rd place, I am going to be putting Cody Saucier and Dragon. Now, Cody's a great driver. I know he's going to get a top 3, but I think that the order is going to be different. I think Cody's going to be a top 3 driver, and I think he's going to stay there in third. Second place, it's a fan favorite truck, but it's not the one Jackson thinks I'm going to say. It's Armando Castro and
Wow.
El Toro Loco. Armando is very consistent. He's very good at what he does, but I think in the first place, it's a fan favorite as well. And she's very consistent with two wheel and other competitions. Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger. I think people still sleep on her, but she's really improved as a driver ever since she started in arenas in Gravedigger. And I think she's going to be able to take home the championship this year coming up.
Well, so again, 8-4, exact same. I got fourth Cody Saucier Dragon, where I just watching him drive, you could kind of tell that he's not really the most excited to be on these arena series. Where when he was on stadium series like 5-ish years ago before COVID, he was a competitor. He was leading one of them in 2020. He led for like most of the tour, I'm pretty sure. But when you kind of switch over his driving style to arenas, it's not there's not as much as you can do in an arena, obviously, and he's about how much you can do with the space you got. So I'm just gonna put him at fourth. Third place, Zach Garner, Wild Side, where he's a guy where definitely one day I could see him being the first independent to ever take a series championship. But I think with him, it just comes down to he puts on most of his best performances in second quarter. I think maybe first quarter is like a little too much. You don't want to break the truck, with a 5-show weekend. Then got 5 more shows the next weekend. So I think Zach probably stay third. Number 2 and 1. Number 2, I got Kristen. Number 1, I got Armando. Groundbreaking. He'll be taking his first series championship on the East is my prediction, I think. And I think that's long overdue. Around 2 years ago is when Armando really started putting his name on the map. And I think he's overdue for a championship. So I think he'll be taking his first this year.
I mean, I totally agree with Wayne. Ours is the exact same. I have obviously all of our 8th through 5th is the same, but Cody in 4th. I just don't think he does good in racing in arenas. But everything else he kind of just lacks in. He's a good top half contender most of the time, and that's kind of it. We got Zach Garner, Wild Side in 3rd. He's just going to be consistently good like he was this year, and he's going to be top 3 for me. In 2nd, we have Kristen. I really kind of this is probably the most competitive tour out of all of them we have. So Kristen Armando's gonna fight for it, but I have Armando over her, and yeah.
It's very close. Some of these tours, it kind of seems like there's one breakaway driver, right? Like Arena West, as we're going to cover in a little bit, that one I imagine could be a potential breakaway for Brandon, or hell, even Arena Central, which I'm sure we all have the same predictions, but I haven't looked at them yet, so I don't know. But yeah, I think this one's very close. It could go either way. I think some of you guys, I think part of the sentiment about Cody is both correct, and I think maybe a little not so correct. I think, yes, Cody is very good in racing. I mean, that's easily his strong suit. He can put on a great freestyle. He has won freestyle before. Two-wheel skills, I think he's usually shown up by some of the others, mainly especially because he does do moonwalks, but I think he likes to do like the wheelies sort of, and the fans, they like them, but you put a truck on 2 wheels, that's the winner. Right. And even the bicycles, we've talked about this before, me and Ewan, right? We've talked about in stadiums, the drivers that do the bicycles, to me, a bicycle is more impressive because it's a lot harder to do. It's a harder trick to pull off. But some of the people that do moonwalks or some of this stuff, they usually score better. So I think it's kind of like a strategy, like a game. You have to play the game correctly. If you can do it your own way, absolutely. But are you going to win? That's the question. It's also about consistency. Yes, Cody isn't winning all the time, but he's fairly consistent. But again, I love you guys' predictions. This is why we're doing this podcast. We're going to move on to our next tour, Arena Championship Series Central, the full lineup. Here we go. Weston Anderson, Gravedigger, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco, Jamie Sullivan, Monster Dalmatian, Brianna Mahan, Scooby-Doo, Brandon Talachka, Just Get It Done Second Generation, Michaela Talachka, Megalodon, Frank Krimmel Zombie, and Alex Barden, Stone Crusher. Lineup again changed a fair bit from the last time we looked at it. Obviously, the inclusions of Alex Barden. I think Frank Krimmel. No, I think Frank Krimmel was announced beforehand, or maybe he wasn't. I don't really remember. No, he wasn't. I just remember that. Brandon Hahn obviously being added at some point. This lineup has changed a lot because remember we had Lindsey Reed and Elvis Linez. Obviously, Lindsey Reed moving to Stadium Series East. They needed someone to drive Scooby. Now they have Brianna driving Scooby on this tour. Shame it's not Whiplash, but I'm not going to complain about that. And Fernando Martinez originally was Elvis Linez. We covered the Elvis situation. Now it's Fernando Martinez. And honestly, that makes me excited because I was praying that Fernando got a tour for next year. It's finally come true, and I'm really excited to see where he places. In 8th place for me, Alex Barton, Stone Crusher. He has actually driven in Monster Jam before. He's driven, I think, Jekyll and Hyde and a few other 2 Extreme trucks back in 2018 and 2019. But I think this is either his first, well, it's definitely his first Arena Series season where he's competing consistently. But I'm not sure if he's driven in arenas before then. So Alex Barden takes 8th for me. I'm excited to see what he can do, but unfortunately, I put him in 8th. Frank Krimmel takes 7th. He finished 8th on this year's tour. The only reason why I put him above Alex is because Frank has obviously had that experience, so I put him in 7th. Michaela Talachka in Megalodon, she finished 8th. I think she's going to jump all the way up to 6th. She's really improved this season. I think she's going to take 6th. Now, this one, I originally was going to put a lot higher, but, and she very well potentially could, but I've put her in 5th place for now. Jamie Sullivan, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. She takes 5th. 4th place, again, I really wanted to put him higher, and I think it may even be a stretch putting him here, but I've done it anyway. Brandon Tulachka, just get it done 2nd gen, takes 4th place. 3rd place, returning to the Arena Series for the first time since 2022, Brianna Mahan, Scooby-Doo. In his first ever season, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco, takes 2nd place. I think he's going to do fantastic. And of course, Weston Anderson in Gravedigger takes 1st place. I mean, he's done 2 seasons so far. He's won both of them. I think he's going to take 3. Over to you guys, your thoughts, your predictions. Let's hear it.
All right. Well, in 8th place, he's an awesome guy and he has a lot of experience, but this lineup's just so stacked that I think Frank Kremel's going to finish in 8th place. Alex Barden, he's in Stone Crusher. He's new to the scene. Like you said, he really has a good ride now. I think he's going to be in 7th place. He has some good monster truck experience. He's not afraid to do stoppies and moonwalks, I'm sure. So I have him for 7th. 6th place, Michaela Telechka in Megalodon. Like you said, she's been improving a lot, and I got to see her in the independent scene in Brooksville over by me. She did a great job. In 5th place, Brandon Telechka and Just Get Her Done 2nd gen. I think he's going to be taken 5th. In 4th place, this might surprise some people. It's the Battle of the Dogs. I think Brianna Mahan and Scooby-Doo is going to finish in 4th. In 3rd place, Jamie Sullivan in Monster Mutt Dalmatian. I believe she has a lot of potential. In Puerto Rico, she did incredible. And we've really been seeing her improve a lot since the beginning of this year, especially. I would say mostly in the skills competition and having more momentum in freestyle. In 2nd place, Fernando Martinez and El Toro Loco. He's a rising star. He's doing great. And like you said, I'm so happy to see him have a full-time ride. And the man that I think is going to run away with it, Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. He's been incredible and he's an amazing driver. So there's just nothing else to say. He's going to take 1st.
Okay, well, so for Central, again, based off trends. So unfortunately, I got to put Frank last. Poor Frank, but that's usually where he tends to finish. The past couple of years, he's been on tour. 7th, I don't know. It's kind of a toss up between Alex and Michaela because we haven't seen Alex in a Monster Jam setting, and I think that's where Michaela placed last year on her tour. So you know what? After seeing Alex a couple weeks ago in Conroe, Texas, I'm going to place him 6th. So Michaela takes 7th. 6th place, Brianna Mahan, Scooby Doo. We haven't seen her on a full time tour in a couple of years now, so it's going to be interesting to see. Fourth place, Jamie Sullivan. I think she's someone that has a lot of potential. She's probably out of all the female drivers, she's been stepping it up the quickest. Like this year, she went from rookie to like great. So I'm gonna place her fourth. Third place, Brandon Toluchka. Just get her done too. He's been great behind the wheel. He's first time seeing him drive was like just a year ago, I think, and he's put on some of the best like arena freestyles and two wheel runs that I've seen all of 2023. Second place, Fernando Martinez. A lot of people are giving him high praise. I think out of all the rookies, excluding Weston, that doesn't count. He has been incredible. Definitely the best one we've seen since COVID, and he's only had what 2 weekends. And I don't know. I see a very bright future with him in Monster Jam. His first couple weekends, he's doing stuff that people don't do after 5 years. So Fernando's going to take second. So my guess. And first place, I think it's going to be Weston running away with this series. Probably, I'm going to guess the biggest points gap to date that we ever see on a Monster Jam tour. Let's just say, I don't know the biggest one, but I'm going to say at least 300 points ahead. He's going to be taking this tour.
Before I give it over to Ewan, and it does have to do with Ewan, we've talked about this many times, how we're like predicting like how many months in advance he's going to win his tour. So actually, hang on, I'm gonna have a look. Okay, you have given it to Weston, spoiler alert. Can you, before you get into your predictions, please give us your prediction on what month and a day or time, if you really want to, you think Weston is going to win his tour?
I think he's going to win his tour, I'd say about a month and a half before the series is over.
All right.
It's not Weston's going to sweep. It's not even funny. Okay,
Nice.
getting into my predictions. I have a bit different. Unfortunately, I have Michaela in last. I've just never been impressed with her in an arena setting, and I've never been really impressed. And in seventh, I have Frank. He's also never really impressed me this year. He's always been kind of that guy who's sticking to first to second to last, and it's probably going to stick that way. And we have Alex Barton. I saw him, I think, in San Antonio, and he was actually kind of good in stadiums. So yeah, and then in fifth we have Jamie Sullivan. It's just that this tour is really good, and I think Jamie's going to finish fifth, and that's just how it is. And fourth, we have Brandon Tolochka and Just Get Her Done. Top half for him. He's been impressive in skills, even if he hasn't got the wins. He's always been top half of almost all competitions. In third, we have Brianna Mahan and Scooby Doo. It's her return. She's always been good in arenas. She always top half as well. In second, Fernando Martinez. I saw what he did in Spokane, and the results don't lie. He got 3 overall, so I think he's going to finish second, but easily winning this tour is Weston by a mile. A few miles.
By, as you said, and I'm holding you accountable to this, and I'll make sure everyone in the MonsterTalk Discord server, by the way, you should totally join, #shameless plug. I'm making sure everyone holds you accountable. You say a month and a half. If you are right, I'm gonna put the bet out there. I will personally PayPal you 20 Australian dollars. I have no idea what that is in yes, because if I do it in American,
$Australian.
I'm
enough,
bankrupt.
man.
But 20 Australian, no? Okay, how much?
Not enough.
How much in Australian? Please don't do American, because I'll be
20
broke.
Australians, probably like $2 American.
Okay. 30 Australian dollars.
Oh, $3. Wow, ain't bad.
30 Australian dollars. If you nail it on the mark, if he wins a month in advance, I will PayPal you 30 Australian dollars. Everyone else can hold me accountable, and mainly Ewan. I will PayPal you $30 if you get it right on the mark. That's that. Done. But yes, all joking aside, this tour is going to be great. A lot of competition, a lot of exciting action. I think this tour could go either way. I think you guys are justified. Also, the first tour that we've looked at yet that we all have said the same winner. But then again, it's Weston. And to your point, Reagan, before, can you even consider him a rookie? Yes, he's only 2 or I think upcoming to 3 years in. But he's won 2 championships. He's probably got a world championship ahead of him maybe next year. can we even call him a rookie at this point? I don't think we can. But yeah, I think Weston Anderson's going to take the tour. Everyone has the same opinion. Move on to our second to last tour, Arena Championship Series West. A lineup: Brandon Vincent, Gravedigger, Manuel Solorio, El Toro Loco, Thunder Roris, Tony Oaks, Ashley Sanford, Megalodon, Dalton Winder, Jurassic Attack, Devin Winfield, Velociraptor. It will be the blue Velociraptor. Don't know what chassis yet. In fact, for all of these Team Throttle trucks, no idea what the chassis is on. That should be a predictions in of itself. But I'm terrible at knowing chassis, so I won't. James Calhoun in Earthshaker and Berto Trevino, Monster Rottweiler. There are 4 drivers. In fact, half the lineup is making their full season debut in Monster Jam on this tour. That is insane. And I'm really excited to see where these drivers finish. For me, 8th place, Berto Trevino, Monster Rottweiler. Awesome to see this truck back, by the way. We haven't seen it since, I think, Santo Domingo 2022 last year. Berto Trevino takes last. Unfortunately, I think he's going to take last. James Calhoun, Earthshaker, no Monster Jam experience, but he's driven on the independent scene. Also, very funny, I'd like to point out, very ironic. He's driving Earthshaker next year. He's driven Dirt Crew on the independent scene. Figured I'd like to point that out. Very funny. But James Calhoun, unfortunately, I'm putting him in 7th place. 6th place, maybe a little lower than many expected. I put Ashley Sanford here in Megalodon. I think that, she had a great season this year, but I think, unfortunately, she's going to get shown up by some of the other drivers that we have on this tour. In his first season, 5th place, Devin Winfield in Velociraptor. He was very impressive in some of the quarter 4 shows that we had this year. I think he's going to take 5th. In 4th place, again, also making his full season debut, Manuel Solorio in El Toro Loco. He had so much promise when he debuted. He still had it. Unfortunately, I think he only had one show after his unfortunate incident in Rosemont, but I think that's behind him. I think he's going to do absolutely fantastic on this tour. In 3rd place, again, this was very hard to pick from between all of these drivers. Because I feel like it could go any way, but for me, Tony Oaks, Thunder Roris takes 3rd. Dalton Widener, Jurassic Attack finishes 2nd, and Brandon Vincent takes the series championship. Before I hand it over to the others to explain this a little bit, Tony Oaks, I think, finished 4th, but he has the ability to finish either 3rd or 2nd or even 1st if Brandon Vincent isn't on top of his game. The same could be said for Dalton. It'd be a career best for him if he finished 2nd. I think he has the ability to even take 1st place. But Brandon Vincent, Gravedigger, it's a hallowed name in the world of monster trucks. It's a fan favorite. I can't see Brandon Vincent not taking the series win unless Dalton Widener or Tony Oaks or any of these other drivers, they're at their 100% effort. They would need like 125% effort to trump Brandon Vincent. And that's my predictions. Over to you guys. Let's hear your predictions for Arena Championship Series West.
Well, 8th place all the way to 4th, they're the exact same for me. But I have to say that I'm really excited to see Berto Trevino, James Calhoun, and Devin Winfield on the track, as well as Manuel. They're all incredible people. I saw Berto in Arizona and got to talk with him. He's a great guy. And I think he's going to get a lot of experience under his belt, especially this upcoming year. I met James a few years ago at Atlanta Motor Speedway for Monster Jam, and here he is actually piloting a truck now. Super happy for him. Devin's another awesome guy. And Manuel, looking forward to everybody. But top 3. So for 3rd place, I have Dalton Widener in Jurassic Attack. It's the battle of the dinos. In 2nd place, Tony Oaks and Thunder Roris. And 1st place, none other than Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger. That top 3 is going to be the one to watch. And I know Dalton's a performer. He's competitive. He was always wanting to win the championships. So now he has a really good chance with these 2 other drivers. And the same could be said for Tony. He was so close to getting it with Kristen last year in 2022, but he wasn't able to take it. He finished in second, so I'm excited to see what he can do. I think that top three is going to be a great one to watch.
Okay, this one's a good one. I'm probably going to see a lot of these West shows this year. I think that's the first stop or first arena stop for me of 2024 is Arena West. So James Calhoun and Berto Trevino. I've not seen either of them drive myself. I know James has driven a handful of times. I'm pretty sure Berto's driven a little bit more. But I think they're both going to play 7th and 8th on this tour. The first Monster Jam full-time schedule. And by the way, when you said Chuch or Wayne, excuse me, earlier, you're talking about meeting James out front of Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was cool. I remember talking to him about how he was in Monster Jam University and all that.
That was so cool.
That was just cool. And now we get to see him drive. I'm going to see him drive Tacoma. Tacoma is the first time I get to see him drive. It's weird, small life or world or whatever, And 6th place, I got Devin Winfield, Velociraptor, because he did pretty good. I saw his first weekend in San Jose, and he didn't do too bad. I got him at 5th. 4th, I'm just going to go Manuel, where he's kind of a wild card. I mean, he did great in the 2 or 3 weekends that he drove earlier this year in 2023, but throwing him onto like a full points tour, we're going to see where he goes. So 4th, right in the middle, I think is a fair spot. 3rd, I'm going to go Dalton Whitner, Jurassic Attack. He had a great season this year in 2023. I think finishing 3rd, if I'm correct. So I think he'll be placing 3rd again in 2024. 2nd place, Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger. You can't win them all. You can't win them all. Brandon's probably won every tour he's ever been on. He's always driven Gravedigger, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's won every single one he's been on.
Oh,
wow.
But it can't happen forever. I think Brand's got an off year. Maybe his truck sucks the whole year, keeps falling apart. I think he's got an old chassis too, so you never know. I'm just theorizing. But
no, I like it. Wow.
First place, Tony Oaks Thunder Oris. Tony is well overdue for a series championship. He just posted on Instagram the other day that he's coming for this one. Where all the other years he said he never felt more ready than this year for 2024. So West Coast Tour winner, Tony Oaks Thunder Oris.
Well, my predictions 8 through 6 is the same, except I have James in 8th and Berto in 7th and Ashley obviously in 6th. For 5th, I have Manuel. I haven't really been impressed by him, but I think he'll do better than the ones below him as he has some experience in arenas. In 4th, I have Devin Winfield and Velociraptor. I was really impressed because he took a couple of wins in, I believe, in an arena sometime in quarter 4. And in 3rd, I got Tony Oaks and Thunder Oris. I mean, we can disagree, but I think he's going to place 3rd. The 2nd got Dalton Widener. It could be a career best for him, but you can't deny Brandon Vincent getting the arena championship.
Yeah. I think that it could very easily go either way. I really, really like Reagan's predictions. It's gonna be tough. I think that this is probably my favorite arena tour out of all of them. I mean, obviously, I'm excited to see some of the other drivers on some of the other series, Amana Castro on East, Zach Garner, all of that. But I think all around, this is probably my favorite tour. And it's a battle between, the Monster Jam trucks and Team Throttle, because all 4 of the independent trucks, even though 2 of them are running Monster Jam identities, are Team Throttle owned trucks. I think that might be the first time, at least for a season, that we have basically 2 teams to fill up one tour. Normally, when we look at some of the others, it's 4 Monster Jam trucks, and then it's 2 different independent teams, and some of them may run Feld identities, or some of the others may run their regular identities. So I'm excited for Arena Championship Series West. We're staying on the West Coast for our final tour, probably my all-time favorite tour that we are looking at. It is Stadium Championship Series West. I love this tour, and I love this lineup even more. It's going to consist of Adam Anderson in Gravedigger, Ryan Anderson, Son of a Digger, Barry Musawa in Zombie, again, as we talked about first off in the podcast. Bari switches from east to west. He's on this tour now. He's driving Zombie, Camden Murphy, Bakugan Dragonoid, Caleb Blood, Soldier Fortune, Colt Stevens, Thunder Roris, Jim Kohler Avenger, Corey Rumble Megalodon, Chris Kohler Monster, Joe Foley, El Toro Loco, Mike Christensen Vendetta, and David Olfer Velociraptor. I think I have some spicy predictions here, and I don't even want to look at some of the other predictions that you guys have wrote just because I love this tour so much, and I want to be surprised, like everyone listening to this podcast. So, for 12th place, David Olfer making his stadium, at least full-time stadium series debut in Velociraptor. Unfortunately, he's going to take 12th. I think his his experience in stadiums is lacking compared to others. That unfortunately is my reason why he takes 12th. Mike Christensen, 11th place in Vendetta. He's finished I think he finished 11th 11th this year. And I think maybe 10th or 12th or something like that the previous year, so 2022. I don't really know. Whatever. 11th place, Mike Christensen, Vendetta. 10th place for me, Joe Foley, El Toro Loco, his career best. He finished last place on this tour. I think he's going to take 10th. I think El Toro Loco, despite the fact that he probably isn't as excited to run this body as, say, Axe. For a reminder for those that don't know, Joe Foley was a firefighter, a fireman. So he's very passionate about the Axe name. I personally would have liked to have seen him run Axe again, but, you know, it is what it is. He's running El Toro Loco. I think El Toro Loco will help him bring him up to 10th place. 10th place, a career best. 9th place, Jim Kohler, Avenger. Unfortunately, he hasn't finished as high as he has wanted to in other seasons. I think, especially after Superstar Challenge, he has a chance to rank in 9th place. 8th place, Caleb Blood, a little lower than she normally is, but I think that with how stacked this lineup is, she's going to take 8th. 7th place, again, another career best, Chris Kohler, Monster Mutt. He's had a season to figure out Monster Jam, figure out how it works, figure out how he likes his truck. He has been fantastic. I think a career best 7th place spot on this tour next year. 6th place, Colt Stevens Thunder Roris finished about 8th on Stadium Blue this year. He's going to finish 6th on this tour. 5th place, again, another driver probably lower than many of you have expected or lower that others, some of the other guests have probably put him higher. I put him in 5th. Byron Musawa, Zombie. 4th place, Corey Rumble Megalodon. He's finished 4th before. He actually finished above Bari on his 2022 tour. This year, he finished behind him. I think for 2024, he takes 4th. 3rd place, Camden Murphy, Bakugan Dragonoid. He finished, I think he finished 2nd or 3rd on his tour for this year. I think he's going to take 3rd because 2nd and 1st is the battle between the Andersons. I'm going to give Adam Anderson 2nd place, which means Ryan Anderson takes this series win for Stadium Championship Series West. Over to you guys. Let's hear your predictions for the final tour for 2024.
Now, Mike Christensen is an awesome guy. I have a lot of fun talking to him, and he always holds my frog hostage in that darn trailer. But I think he's going to be 12th place this year. Nothing against him. It's just the talent is so crazy. But who knows? I think he could work his way up there. David Oldford in Velociraptor, I have in 11th place. It's his first full time, like you said, basically in a stadium championship. Joe Foley in 10th place in El Toro Loco. I think the name of the truck is going to help him out. I know that the fans wanted to see him in Axe so he could represent all the firefighters and people, but you get what you get, and El Toro's still cool. Jim Kohler in Avenger for 9th place, Caleb Blood in 8th, Colt Stevens in 7th, which I'm sure fans probably expect him to be a little higher than that, but we'll see what happens in real life. Chris Kohler in Monster Mutt in 6th place. He's been showing a lot of incredible potential, but it's just that top 5 is stacked. In fifth place, I have Corey Rummel and Megalodon, his teammate. In fourth place, Bari Musauer and Zombie. And your top three, Camden Murphy in third, and the Andersons are going to go neck and neck. I think this is going to push Adam to go even harder than he ever has. I have Adam in second place and Ryan Anderson finishing in first if everything holds up.
Okay. Well, this one is the one I think everyone's excited for. This is a very stacked tour. Pretty much anyone could place anywhere if you ask me. But the way I got it written down right here, there we go. There it is. Okay. So I got Mike finishing in last. That's just the trend that we've been seeing. 11th, I think it's gonna be Jim Kohler. Honestly, looking at the rest of the tour, nothing against Jim, just where everyone else is, it's just incredible. I think 10th, I got Joe. He's got El Toro Loco behind him, so I might give him a couple extra, fan points. Then ninth, Kayla. 8, Colt. 7th, Dave Olford on his first ever stadium series. I'm super excited for that. He is going to go off. 6th, Chris Kohler. 5th, Bari Musauer. 4th, Corey Rummel. 3rd, Camden Murphy. And obviously, it comes down to the two Andersons. Like Wayne said earlier, I would definitely expect to see Adam to go hard, like the hardest he ever has in his career. But I just think when it comes to the two-wheel game, that's the only place that like Ryan outshines him in, where they're both the two Andersons. So they're both the best at racing and freestyle. But I think when it comes to those two-wheel points, which are crucial, we're going to see Ryan get more than Adam does, leading Ryan to take the series. And I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down to the last weekend too, where they're just a couple points, apart. But I think Ryan's going to take it.
All right, for my predictions, I have, unfortunately, even with the El Toro Loco bonus, I have Joe Foley in last place, 12th. I just think in stadiums, it was obviously his first, but I just don't think he's going to, with the stacked lineup, he's not going to put it off and he's going to get 12th. In 11th, I have Jim Kohler and Avenger. This tour is just great all around, and I just see Jim getting 11th. In 10th, I have Mike Christensen in Vendetta. He's really improved over his 2022, but not that much. I have him top 10 though, so hopefully he gets it done. But in ninth, I have Colt Stevens. Even with the freestyle championship, his season performance was, I'd say, a bit lackluster. He got 8th, 7th. I believe he tied, and it's just like, eh. And then in 8th place, I got Chris Kohler, Monster Mutt. In 7th, I got David Olfert, Velociraptor, his first season. I believe he's going to be top 10, kind of inching maybe into the top 5. It's going to be close between him and Kayla, who I have in 6th. In 5th, I have Corey Rummel and Megalodon. I think he's going to get below Bari, who's in 4th. And 3rd, Camden. He's always consistent 3rd. And I guess I'm a different one this time.
Ooh.
In 2nd, I have Ryan, and 1st, I have Adam.
Wow.
Who let him cook?
Who let him cook? Well, I think it was Reagan's point from earlier. I think that could very easily go either way, to where I don't know what the last, I'll put it up on screen. But I think for the last stop on the season, it could very easily go either way. Kind of like how Stadium Blue was this year when we went to Kansas City. We didn't know if it was going to be Ryan. We didn't know if it was going to be Tyler. Yes, Tyler had a bit of an advantage, but Tyler broke in racing. We had to wait to skills. So I think it could go either way. I think it could be really down to the wire on this final tour. And I'm excited because, as we talked about when the tours were first revealed, this is the first time that Adam and Ryan have been on a stadium tour together for a full season. And I think this is going to be an absolute amazing tour to watch. And I cannot wait to see this tour. I can't wait to see all the tours. Next year is going to be so fun. So I do have some other things to say, but first I did want to hand it over to some quick final thoughts, same order as before, about all of the tours, all of your predictions, Master Jam next year. Over to you guys. One sentence, however long you want to go for it. Final thoughts for Master Jam next year.
Well, I'm excited. I think the fans are most excited for Tom Mentz's tour. It's Tom, Tyler, and Tristan. I think that's the top three, and it's going to be an incredible year. I know Reagan's excited. he's basically Tom's number one fan between Tom Cat Gunther and him. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be insane. Other than that, the arena series are very stacked. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to win the tour that Cody's on with everybody else. If it's going to be Tony and Brandon on the other one. There's just so much awesome stuff. And I think David Olfert, Reagan was talking about him a little bit. I ranked him a little low. I think David's going to be mid-pack. He's an incredible driver. He holds off on the off-season arenas because why do you want to go super hard for something that doesn't get your points or anything?
Yeah.
He's going to kill it. And 2024 is going to be awesome. I'm so happy that we're in full effect from the pandemic days and we're doing good. More international stuff. I'm looking forward to that. And can't wait to see what else gets announced internationally. That's going to be exciting. What an awesome year. I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for having me.
Well, this season, I would say, when you look at like the lineups and stuff, and the tours especially, looks to be one of the more interesting seasons we've had in a very long time. With all like the rookies coming on and lineup changes and stuff. Seeing Tristan in stadiums, Tom's farewell tour. That's the thing I'm most excited for 2024. As much as I hate to see it, it's going to be awesome. And then World Finals, LA, SoFi Stadium. Can't wait for that too. That's going to be super cool. I just get a drive. It's not that far. So 2024 is going to be sick. I cannot wait. Thanks for having me on, bro.
2024 is going to be a sick season for stadiums, really different tracks, and we'll see how the competitors react. And remember, my predictions are facts. Always.
a month and a half, you said. A month and a half. Wait, hang on. Yes, a month and a half. That's the prediction. That's what everyone has to remember, that if he gets that right, $30 Australian.
I get $3.
No, 30.
Let's go.
30. Let's remember that.
Fortnite gift card.
Yeah, do you play Fortnite? Do you want Fortnite? No, again. That is the end. I am so thirsty. I need water. It is summer in Australia, and it is super hot, and I need to turn the fan on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you with another exciting episode of the Bonus Time MonsterTalk podcast. Good night, everybody.